So basically what we need in the admin department is we need a proper format so that the students can give their details according to that format. So in reality, what will happen whenever you visit a college for admission, they will give a proper format, a form kind of thing to fill up your details. So generally, we'll fill up. All the students will fill up the details according to that form and hand over that form to the admin people. Hand over that form to the admin people. That form, that format, whatever they are giving, is something similar to a template, something similar to a template. It will guide us how to give the details, how to give the input, isn't it? The form will guide us how to give the input into the system. Okay, here the organization is a system where you are giving your details as an input, isn't it? Where you are giving your details as an input. In a similar way, when we consider the what we call a class or a application, a C++ program, so the um, this templates is a way of giving input. Okay, templates is a way of giving input. So when you are filling that form, the form will not check whether you are a it will not check your age, it will not check your area of living, it will not check your gender, isn't it? All these things it will not check. It will simply take whatever input you are giving, it will simply takes, and accordingly it will frame that input. Accordingly it will frame that input to the system. In the same way, whenever you are giving some input to your application, the input should be in a flexible way. It has to enter into the system in a flexible way. It has to enter into the system in a flexible way. There should not be any restrictions on the input, that because you are giving integer input I will not accept, because you are giving character input I will not accept, and my code will accept only string input, so give only string input. Like that your code should not say. Like that your code should not say. Your code should accept whatever input you are giving. Whether you are giving integer input, it has to accept. Whether you if you are giving float input, it has to accept. If you are giving double input, it has to accept. To narrate such a code, to write such a code, to develop such a code, we are going for these templates. Hope you understood this concept thoroughly now. So quickly we'll get into the examples, and there we will see how these templates can be implemented in C++ programming. Hopefully. So as we said, a template is a blueprint or a formula for creating a generic class or a generic function. Generic means irrelevant or independent of the type. Generic means independent of the type. So we are not going to follow any type. Simply we make our code independent to the type. Independent to the type. So yes, suppose how these what we call templates are going to help in data structure implementation, in the sense whenever you implement a data structure, whenever you implement a stack or implement a queue or implement a vector. So basically what these data structures will do means they will structure your data. As the name suggests, they will structure your data inside the computer's memory. They will structure your data, and that data, it can be anything, isn't it? It can be anything. It can be integer, it can be float, it can be character, it can be string, it can be anything, isn't it? So when we are saying data, it can be anything. And when we are saying data structures, they should not depend on the type of the data. They should not depend on the type of the data. The data structures, they should be independent of the type of the data. They should be independent of the type of the data. So that is the reason why we implement all our data structures. Like suppose you consider an array. Okay, this is the best example, because what you already know, in terms of that only I am giving this explanation so that you will understand. Okay, suppose if there is an array. So array, as you know, it is type specific. It is type specific. Before declaring that array, we have to specify the type. So if I am specifying an array of integer, if I am specifying an array of integers, then what will happen? That array will take only integers. So let us assume I have taken an array of type integers. How we are declaring? Int a of 4. Now this a of 4, how many bytes? 4 bytes. Sorry, how many blocks of memory? 4 blocks of memory. How many blocks? 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now in these 4, the index will start like this: 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So now here you can store only integers. Isn't it? We can't store any other type of data over here. We can store only integers because the array is type specific. Int a of 4, this a of 4 is type specific now, and you can store only integer type of data into this a of 4. We can't store any other data. So if I create character a of some 4, now this same array, now as it is of type character, we can store 4 characters over here. We can store 4 characters over here: 4, 2, 7, 9. Here some values I'm taking: a, c, b, d, something I'm taking over here. Like this, we can store only characters. So this kind of thing we call it as type dependent. And this data structure, array is also a data structure because it is structuring the data, isn't it? It is structuring the data. Okay, so this type of data structure, array is a type specific data structure. Array is a type specific data structure because we have to specify the type before its declaration, and according to that type only it will accept the data. Clear? But whereas, yeah, whatever data structures we are going to implement, okay, we want our data structures to be independent of the type. If you want your data structure to be independent of the type, then how we have to declare, how we have to write the code for those data structures, in the sense, simply by using templates. Simply by using templates, if you write the code, if by using templates, they will accept any type of data irrespective the type, irrespective to the type, independent to the type. They will accept any type of data, any type of data. Okay, they can accept integers, they can accept characters. Simply what it means is, you should not supposed to write different codes, multiple codes for accepting multiple types of data. Only one code will accept multiple types of data. Only one code will accept multiple types of data. That is the concept of uh, templates. So there is a single definition for each container. Only one single array is a container. So whatever containers we are going to implement, like stacks, queues, linked list, all these, we are going to write only one code for one container, and that container is going to accept any type of data. Like as you can see over here, we have written, let us assume vector. Vector is a data structure. Okay, vector is a data structure, and that data structure, if you implement using templates, what will happen? Yeah, this data structure vector can accept any type of data. Assume, so to accept the integers, we have to make this same code like this. We have to create the object like this. Or if you, in order to accept the string, you have to modify the code like this. See, simply at the time of creation of object, we'll do all these things. Will not go into code and will not change all the types. Wherever we are using types, we will not replace those types with these new types. Clear? So these kind of advantages we have with the help of templates. So template, it is a very simple technique, but it is a very powerful technique. Okay, it is a very simple technique, but it is a powerful tool, we can say, in C++. Okay, the idea of passing the type as a parameter so that we don't need to write the same code for multiple times. So instead of writing the code multiple times for multiple data types, what we are doing, we are writing only one code, and we are passing the data type as parameters. Not only the data elements, but also the data type as parameter to these templates. Okay, so yeah, the example he is using, that add function example only, that I have already explained. In an organization, let us assume that if you are adding two integers, then you are writing one type of code. If you are adding two double, then you are writing another. If you are writing a float, you are writing another. So that example I have already explained to you. Okay, so in order to achieve, in order to write, in order to get these templates in our C++ programming, we are making use of two different data types, two different keywords. In order to write the template code in our C++ programming, we are using two different keywords. One is templates and other one is type name. So these two keywords you have to understand. One is template and the other one is type name. Template, type name. Clear? So there are two different types of templates that we can have in our programming. One is the function templates and the other one is class template. Yeah, quickly we'll wind up these two in our discussion. Okay, two types of templates, function template and class template. So what we will see, what is a function template. Simply, whatever function we are writing, we are making that function independent of the type. So then we call it as function template. Very simple, isn't it? If you make a specific function, a particular member function independent of the type, independent of the type, we call it as function template. We call it as function template. To do that, what we have to do means this syntax you have to follow. This same syntax, whatever they have given under this box, you have to follow the same syntax when you are writing or when you are declaring or when you are defining a function in your programming. Clear? When you are defining a function in your programming. So the syntax, it is very simple. What we have to do, first we have to write the keyword template. The keyword template. Then open the angular bracket. Open the angular bracket. Then take this type name keyword. First template keyword, angular bracket, type name keyword. Followed by this type. This type, it can be any identifier you can take over here. We generally take T, capital T as an identifier because it has to represent the type, isn't it? Because it has to represent the type. We generally take capital T, capital U, because if you have multiple type names, then we take capital U and capital V. Likewise, we take. So all capital letters we take as identifiers over here to differentiate them as templates, to differentiate them as template types. So what syntax we have to follow? First we have to use the keyword template, then we have to use the keyword type name followed by the type. That type, it is an identifier. That type, it is an identifier. So generally we take this type identifier with capital letters. Okay, capital letters T, U, V, likewise we take. Clear? Then whatever return value you want from this function, so that return type you have to specify. Basically, if you make this template full, if you make this function fully template, then this return type, it is also going to be a template only. It is also going to be a template only. When we define this function, when we take the example, this is just the syntax, right? When we take the example over there, we will discuss in detail. So then you give the function name. Okay, then you give the function name and specify the parameter list. This parameter list, if you are making this function name, if just now I told you, if you are making this function as a template, this return type as well as this parameter, they are going to be in terms of templates only. They are not going to be in terms of primitive types or specific types, I mean to say. They are not going to be in specific types. Rather, they are going to be in template types. This return type as well as this parameter list. Okay, because here only we are specifying the types of a function, isn't it? Here only we are specifying the types of a function. So in order to make this function as a template, here only you have to change them as templates. Instead of specific types, you have to make them as, you have to change them as templates. You have to change them as templates. Clear? Hopefully you understood. So here in the above syntax, type name, this type is a type name. This type is a type name for a specific data type used by the function. Suppose if you are trying to pass sometimes integer, sometimes what we call double, sometimes float, simply make it make this parameter list as template. And if you want this function to return at one time integer, at another time double, at another time float, make this also as template. Clear? Yeah, we will see with example program now. Okay, we'll see this with an example program. So first, what I will do, I will write multiple definitions and then I will squeeze those definitions with the help of templates so that you will understand the difference between the regular way of programming and with the help of templates. How the code will get reduced, that also you have to understand. So I will quickly open my Dev CPP compiler. I'm going to this source file so that I can write the program here. So now I'm writing my program. So first hash include IO stream. Okay, then what I am doing, I'm writing a function over here. Okay, so my function will return integer type and add integer type int a comma int b. So like I'm writing the definitions because we are talking about function template, so I'm not taking any classes over here. I'm writing a regular structural way of programming. Okay, so in this what I am doing, I'm taking yeah, what I have to return from this function, what I have to return, integer value. So return a plus b. Basically, it is adding my a plus b, two parameters of type integer, type specific. Now I want to add double, add of, okay, int d1 double one and int d2 double two. So next again same thing we are doing, return of d1 plus d2 like this. I'm writing another code for float of add of float f1 comma float f2, two temporary parameters I'm receiving. Now return f1 plus f2. Clear? Like this I am writing multiple codes. Now I'm writing my int main of void, my main function. So in it, if you want to call this yeah, using std, I forgot, using a namespace inclusion, I forgot, using namespace std. Okay, come down. So if you want to add two integers, what you have to do, you have to call this function. You have to call this function. So that is, let us assume how we can call add of, yeah, basically it will return integer na, int uh, result 1. Okay, int result 1, or else you do one thing. Okay, result 1, then result 1 equals to what we have to do, we have to call the add function by passing two integers. So 23 comma 32, these two are integers and they will be passed as an integers, and whatever result we will get, that will be that you will get in the res1. See out of integer sum. Okay, integer sum. Okay, go to end and put that res1. So like this. So save this program. What we are doing, we are practicing templates. Template.cpp. Hit enter. Program gets saved. Okay. Now go to execute, compile. What it is saying. Okay, here we have to put these two as double double. Okay, basically what it is overriding. We are creating the ambiguity in overriding. So when you are adding two doubles, put double only. Okay, double d1, double d2, like this. Save this program. Program gets saved. Compile. Successfully compiled, zero errors, zero warning. And now you execute the program. Yeah, it will take some time because I'm executing this program for the first time after turning on the PC. Yeah, it started execution. As you can see the output, yeah, integer sum 55, we got like this. So whatever value we passed, that is 23, 32, we got 55. So like this. So from where this code it is executing means from this function, because we are passing integers. So now can I pass like this 4 5? By default they will become double, isn't it? 5 6, they are double now. Okay, so now what I have to do here, make this as a double. Now inside this, yeah, inside this C out, here you put, as we are passing double double sum result 1. So now it is going to add that, I mean, which function it will invoke in order to add these two double values. In order to add these two double values, this add of double value will invoke this function, this double function. Okay, and it will add the double and return the double. Add d1, yeah, d1 will become this 23.45 and d2 will become 32.56, and whatever result it is going to calculate, that result it will return, over here from this function as a double value, and that same double value we are storing into this result one, and that result one we are printing over here. So after saving, compile, successfully compiled, hopefully. Yes, zero results, zero warnings, and then execute. It started execution and we got the output. Yeah, double sum 56.01. Whatever values we passed, it is simply adding those and it is giving the result as 56.01 something. Okay. So basically what it is doing, it is adding the sum, it is adding these past parameters. So can we add some different data types? Let us assume you don't have these two. Let us assume you don't have these two, this float and double functions. You have only integers. You have only integer addition function. So does it going to add these double values? No, it is not going to add. Simply you see what error we will get. Yeah, it is taking, because why it is taking means, because here what will happen when you are passing the double value to integer, what will happen, a typecast will occur, a typecast will occur. Okay, downward typecast, or we also call it as what we call narrowing typecast. Narrowing typecast means what it will do, it will omit this 445, 23.45 we have given na, this 45 gets omitted and this 56 gets omitted. So it will consider this 23 as 23.45 as 23 only, and it will consider 32.56 as 32 only. So 23.45 will get copied into this A as 23, and 32.56 will get copied into this B as 32. So result of 23 plus 32, that is 55, it will return 55.0. So 55 only it will return because the return type is integer. 55 only it will return. That 55 we are storing inside this double variable. Result 1 we are storing into double variable. So what will happen when you print that result 1, what will happen, 23 plus 32, 55, and this sum 45 plus 56 will not be added, because your function is treating these two values not as double values but as integer values. That is the reason what it is doing, it is taking 23, 32 and it is adding those two, and it will give you the result as 55.6 zeros. It will print 6 zeros also. Why means, because this result 1, it is a double type of variable. It is capable of holding double result, but we are not, the function add function is not giving the double result, it is giving integer result. That is the reason why it is holding only integer result. So we'll see what will happen to the program. Compile, to the output I mean to say. So are we going to get 55.6 zeros or something else we are going to get? We'll analyze. So quickly see what output we are getting here. So as you can see, it is giving only 55. Maybe that 0.000 it is truncating. Okay, so it is giving only 55, but it is printing it as double sum. Okay, it is giving only 55. Even though we are adding two double type of parameters, two double type of values, we are getting integer result. The reason is because our function is capable of handling only integers. It is not capable of handling float and double. It is not capable of handling float and double. That is the reason why we are getting inaccurate result. Okay, so with the help of function overloading, we can, to some extent, we can solve this issue. But function overloading, again, what will happen? It will increase the number of lines of code, isn't it? Number of lines of code. So what we do, how we are going to modify this function with the help of templates, quickly see, so that it can accept any type of data, so that this function will become independent to the type. Quickly you see. So what we have to do, what strategy we have to follow means, yeah, that syntax we have to follow. In that syntax, first thing is we have to write template keyword, template, then angular bracket, then type name keyword, these two. Then you have to use any identifier to hold the type, any identifier to hold the type. So in order to hold the type, I'm using t as my uh, type. Okay, t as my type. Or yeah, here when I am holding this t as type, so for this function, my return type is t only. Whatever type I will pass, that type return value I want from this function. And here also t. And here also t. That's it. Here also t. Here you put comma. Like this. So now what I will do when I'm calling this function, because my result is, I need result is double and I'm passing the double parameters. So what I have to do is I have to make this function call. I have to make this function call, yeah, type specific, by passing double over here, by passing double over here. Like this we have to, these type of changes we have to do in between the angular brackets. Yeah, here right now what we are doing, we are not only passing the data elements but also passing the type. So in between angular brackets we are passing this double. So this double will go and stored inside this t. Now this t will become double. This t will become double. See over here. Between the angular brackets, I am passing double. So this double will come and get stored inside this t. Clear? Inside this t. So right now what will happen? Inside this t, the double will come. So this a variable will become of type double. This b variable will become of type double. And the return value of this add function will also become double. So this 23.45 value what we are passing, that will come inside A, and 32.56 that will come inside B. Right now my A, B both are of type double, because T is double. Because T is double, both A and B, they are also double. So what I am doing, I am adding two double variables. I am adding two double variables, A plus B. So the result will be double only. The result will be double only. And whatever we are going to return from this function, that value is also double, because T is double. T is double. So right now, this add function, after adding two double variables, will return the double value, and that double value gets stored inside this result 1, which is also double. So I will not get any inaccuracy in the output. I will get the same output. See. Now, see. Compile. It gets successfully compiled and then run. See here, double sum 56.01. That means it is adding the decimals as well, because it is considering A and B, the formal parameters, as double type. Because it is considering A and B as double type, because we passed the type as double. When we are calling the function, we passed the type as double. That is the reason why it is considering A and B also double, and the return type of that function also as double. Return type of that function also as double. So quickly, if I want integers right now, instead of these things, if I want integers, do I have to change anything in this template? If I want integers to be added, do I have to change anything in this template? No, there is no need to change anything in that template. I have to change in my code only. The template will remain same, and template will accept all the types. Right now, see, I am going to add two integers with the help of this template. With the help of this template. So what I have to do? Yes, my resultant variable, it should be of integer type. And yeah, no need to change here. Here, this type, it should be integer. And as I'm adding only integers, remove these decimals. Remove these decimals. and inside here, instead of double, put integer. Clear? So right now, with that same function code, with that same function template, I am satisfying my need of adding two integers. Previously, I have added two double parameters. Now I am adding two integer parameters simply by changing my code, not by changing the template code. Template will remain intact. Template will remain unchanged. So right now what I am doing, I am adding my integers. So quickly check that one. Compile. Successfully compiled, and go and check the result. As you can see, it is adding the integers now, and you will get 55 right now, like this. So you can even make this as float. How can? Simply here you take float, float, here also float, and here also take something else, some different values, 5.36 and this value 3.271, like this, these two float values, and we are adding float sum. We're adding float values. So this float will be passed from here to, from this angular bracket to this angular bracket. So this t will become float. So as this t is float, this a will also of type t, isn't it? A is also of type t. So this a will also become float. This b is also of type t. So b will also become float. And return type of this add is also t. So the return type will also become float. So we are adding two float values and we are returning the float result. That float result will get stored because whatever you are going to return from here, that will come over here, and that will be stored inside this result one, and that will be printed using this cout function on the output screen. Quickly go and check. Okay, compilation successfully compiled. Now you see the result. You will get the precisions also added, decimal points also as added. So in this way, 8.631, in this way you can add, you can make your template independent of the type, independent of the type. So like your class, I mean like your functions, your classes, for classes also you can write the uh, what we call independent type code. That is nothing but you can make your class also as template. So just as we define function templates, we can also define class templates. The general form, the syntax for defining a class template is the following one. First, what we have to do, again, how we did for functions, in that same way you have to do for classes. First, you have to take the keyword template. Inside that angular bracket, instead of taking type name as a keyword, you have to use the keyword class. You have to use the keyword class followed by the type. And this type, it can be any type name. It can be any type name. Then use one more time class keyword, then take the class name. Then take the class name. Start the angular bracket, and whatever code you want to narrate, that code you have to narrate between these two angular brackets. Sorry, between these two braces, curly braces. Clear? So first you have to use the template keyword, then the angular bracket. Inside that angular bracket, use the class keyword followed by the type. Whatever type you want inside that class as generic, that type you take. Then one more time take the class keyword, follow the class name, use the curly bracket, curly braces. Between those two curly braces, put your code, put your class code, your declarations, your member functions, all those things put inside that, your constructors, all those things put inside that curly braces. So quickly we see, this is one simple example I have taken. Yeah, anyhow, we'll discuss one program using this class templates over there, you will understand. So quickly go to that template program. Okay, so here I will write that class template so that you will understand. Okay, so very simple class with two private data members of different types. Two private data members of different types, and I'm taking one constructor and one member function. One constructor and one member function. All these things will make independent of the type, will make our entire class independent of the type. So we'll do 2-3 changes and we will see how our class is going to respond according to our changes. How our class is going to respond according to our changes, according to our type changes. Okay, because our class is independent to the type now, independent by the type now, if it is template class, so it has to behave, it has to give the response for different type of data elements, for different types, I mean to say. So quickly I will start narrating, start writing that program. You see that one. So hash include IO stream, sorry, caps lock gets on. So IO stream, okay, then using a namespace std. Okay, now I'm writing my class. So how we can write the I want to make my class as template class. So how I can template, then use the class keyword followed by t. As I want two different types in my class, I told you two different private types I am going to declare. So one class, another type, class T is one, and class U is second type. So then, yeah, whatever I have to write here, I'm writing in the next slide just to give some organization in my program. Okay. So next, what thing we have to use? Again, use the class keyword, then use the class name. Okay. My class name, I'm making it as A, class A. So now this A class is a template class. Clear? So inside it, what I am doing, I am taking two private data members. One data member of this T type, another data member is of this U type. So that I am taking over here. T of capital T, sorry, T of T of X. Okay, another type U of Y. So this is my type and this is the data member name. T is my type and X is my data member name. U is my type name. Y is my data member name. So next thing I am writing my constructor so as to initialize this X and Y. So as to initialize this X and Y. My constructor will accept two data elements because I have to initialize two data members. So it will accept two data elements. So one is of type what? X is of type T. So it has to accept T type of data element. Another, I want to initialize Y. Y is of type U. So it has to accept U type of data element. So these two are my types in my declaration. These two are my types in my declaration. I want one show function which simply prints on the output screen whatever I am passing, whatever type of data element I am passing. Because as you know, my cout function, it is not specific to the type. It is completely generic, isn't it? It is completely generic. If you are passing an integer variable, it will simply print that integer variable content on the output screen. If you pass an float type of variable, it will print that float content on the output screen. If you pass a double type of variable, it will print that double type of variable content on the output screen. Your cout, it is a generic function. It will not specific to any type, unlike your scanf function. Whereas scanf, it is specific to the type because you have to specify the conversion string also, because you have to specify the format string, format control string, we can say, isn't it? Because if you are printing integer, you have to put percentile D. If you are printing character, percentile C. If you are printing float, percentile F. If you are printing double, percentile F. Likewise, your scanf, it is type specific, but your cout, it is generic. Whatever parameter you pass to that cout function, whatever variable you pass to that cout function, it will simply print its content on the output screen irrespective to the type. Irrespective to the type. So here also the same thing. Okay, I'm writing one show function. In that show function, I'm going to use one cout statement which is completely generic. So my return type to the show function is void. It is not going to return anything, and my parameters to this show function also void. It is neither going to take any parameters nor going to return any parameters. Now this is my closing of the class. This is my closing of the class. Now what I have to do, I have to write the definition of this a constructor as well as this show function, isn't it? Show function. So how I have to do? Yeah, you have to be very accurate over here. You have to pay some attention over here, because Defining the functions, defining the constructors in template, it is completely different how we are doing in a regular way. In regular way, what we do, in order to define this constructor, we will qualify this constructor with the class name. In order to define this show function, we will qualify this show function with this class name. But right now, my class, it is not a regular class, it is a template class. So to qualify this a constructor, use the template class. Use class along with the template definition. Use class along with the template definition. In that same way, to qualify this show function with this class, use the class along with the template definition. How we will do that one, I will show you. Right now, I want to define my constructor A. My constructor A. So what is the procedure? So as the constructor, it is not going to have any return type. We have to qualify that constructor name with class name. What is my class name? A is my class name. As it is not a regular class, it is a template class. So what I have to do? Yeah, I have to qualify my constructor with template class definition. So put A followed by, yet what is the template definition? T and U. Two different types it is using, T and U. And then use the scope resolution operator, your regular way. Scope resolution operator. Then take the constructor, and this constructor is taking two parameters. One is of type T, T1, comma, another one is of type U. Okay, T2. Two temporary parameters, two formal parameters I am taking. I am going to initialize the T1. Okay, I am going to initialize the T1 to X. Isn't it? T1 of type T, capital T. And inside our class, X is of type capital T. So T1, whatever value it is bringing from the main function, that value I have to initialize to X. So like this. Next, Y. So T2, Y is of type U. So T2 is of type U. Whatever value T2 is going to bring from the main function, that I have to initialize to Y. Like this. So simply, for our understanding that the constructor is called, I am keeping one statement. See out of constructor called. Constructor called. Like this, I am keeping one simple statement. Okay, NL. Okay, next what I have to do, I have to define my show function as well. I have to define my member function show, which is part of your A class. And this A is not a regular class, it is a template class. So what I have to do, yes, first take the return type of that show function, which is void. Then qualify that show function with class name. What is my class name? A is my class name. And it is not a regular class, it is a template class. So take the type definitions also. TU, like this, TU. Then the scope resolution operator, then the function name, then the parameter list. Parameter list is void only. So inside this, what I am doing, see out of, I am simply printing data members of A. Data members of A. I am simply printing those two data members. So what is data member? X is my data member, and I am taking some space in between. Okay, then print Y is my data member and L. That's it. Okay, so like this, I have written the definition for show function as well. So inside my main, int main of void, inside my main, what I am doing now, I want to create an object of this class A. I want to create an object of this class A, and I want to initialize this X and Y, and I want to print how I'm going to initialize with the help of constructor. Then I want to print X and Y with the help of this show function on the output screen. Quickly see how I'm going to do that one. So first of all, in order to create the object, what procedure we are following? First the class name, then the object name. Isn't it? Class name and object name. In this way we are creating for a regular class. But I want my constructor to be invoked. I want my constructor to be invoked. Isn't it? So what I have to do, that constructor will take two types of values. Two types of values. First of all, I have to decide what type of values I am going to pass to this class. So let us say I want to pass two integers. I want to pass two integers. So what I have to do, make the template definition over here. Because A class, it is a template class, and it is having two template types. One is T, one is U. We have to decide those two template types. isn't it? We have to decide those two types. So first t as integer I am passing, okay, and then second u also like integer I am passing. Clear? So t will become integer, u will also become integer. That means x will become integer, y is also become integer because t is int, u is also int. So now how many parameters I have to pass? Two parameters I have to pass. Those two parameters, they should be of integers. They should be integers. So like this. That's it. Object A is created successful. Now call that show function to see the value. So a dot show. A dot show function show. That's it. So this function show function will print those data members of A, X and Y on the output screen. X value will become 10 and Y value will become 43. X is integer, Y is also integer. So quickly go and compile. Okay, it is giving some error. T was not declared under this scope. Why? Yeah, here, yes, you have to fully qualify template, okay, class T, comma, class U. Like this, you have to write fully qualify. You have to fully qualify the A class. That means you have to, once again, you have to write the definition over here. See, when you are defining it, yeah, this statement again you have to write. Clear? This statement again you have to write. Here also you will get, when you are defining the show function, again you will get that error. So what you have to do, fully qualify that template class T, comma, class U, like this. Okay, now save the program, execute, compile. Yes, successfully compiled, as you can see. Then execute, run. See, data members of constructor is called first of all, and then data members of A 10, 43, both are integers. Both are integers. Now let us assume for this class A, I want one data member as integer and the second data member as character. I don't want both to be integers now. I want one data member as integer and second data member as character. Do I have to change anything over here inside this class definition? No, I don't have to. Do I have to change anything here inside the constructor definition? No, I don't have to. Do I have to change anything over here inside the show function definition? No, I have to, because all are templates only. So no need to change. But inside my code of the main function, I have to modify the second type as character. I have to modify the second type as character and pass that character value accordingly over here. So how we can pass the character value? Yeah, single quotations we have to use, and second character value I am passing like C. Okay, one integer value 10 I have passed. Second is my character value, that is C. So what will happen internally? Quickly you see. This will invoke this A of angular bracket int character will invoke this definition, angular bracket definition. So this T will become integer and U will become character. T will become integer, U will become character. So X will become integer, Y will become character. X will become integer, Y will become character. So now when you are passing, when you are invoking this constructor, yeah, this constructor call will invoke this thing. Yeah, this thing, it will invoke this thing. Again, T will become bot. T will become integer, U will become character. So here T1 will become integer, T2 will become character. So T1 value 10 we are passing. T2 value C we are passing. So T1 will become 10, T2 will become C. So X will become 10, Y will become C. So that same thing we are printing. We are calling the show function on that same object. So we are printing that value, data members of A, X and Y. So X is 10 and Y is what? Y is C. The same thing we will get on the output screen. Quickly you see that one. Go to execute, compile. Compilation is successful. Yeah, execute and run. So as you can see, constructor is called and data members of A 10 C. 10 is X value, C is Y value. Integer type, character type. Like this we got. If you want both the things as characters, go here and make this also as character and change this 10 value to some character, let us say R. So RC you will get on the output screen. Okay, compilation is successful. Okay, then execute and see the output on the output screen. You got RC. So using templates, maybe you understood how simple it is to write the code for different types, isn't it? So simply whatever code we have written before this main function, whatever code we have written, we made this entire code type independent. We made this entire code type independent. Nowhere we used any primitive types. Rather we are using template types, and whenever we need specification in our code, we are modifying inside the main function only. We are not touching anything inside the templates. We are modifying only inside the main function, and the code is behaving, the code is giving response according to our changes without any errors, without any problems. So this is the way in which we are going to program, we are going to write coding by making the code generic, by making the code type independent, by making the code with the help of templates. So, inshallah, in our next class, we'll discuss the further concepts. Yeah, these templates, as I said, pay more attention to it. Try to practice 2 to 3 times with your own examples and try to analyze the stuff, how the computer, how the compiler or how your code is behaving according to these templates, according to the changes you made in accordance with the templates, and try to get something from it. Because in future, whatever programs we are going to write, whatever code we are going to write, it is purely dependent on these templates. And the analysis is very important. Analysis is very important. How we are defining, how we are declaring the codes inside the class, and how we are writing, how we are narrating the functions according to these templates, it is very, very, very important. Okay, and these templates, it is one of the important questions for your external exams. Many times they ask these questions for 7 marks or for 5 marks. So definitely we are expecting one such question in this time of external exams as well. So these two are very, very important. Function templates as well as class templates. These two are very, very important. Okay, so hopefully you will get something from it. And this video, hopefully it will help you in order to understand this templates concept. And if you do have any kind of doubts, post in the comment section, or you can even post me on the personal WhatsApp group, or you can communicate with me over the phone also. No issues. I will definitely, if I am free, definitely I am going to give the response and I am going to clarify your doubts. Again, ultimately, end of the week or end of the unit, we are going to have one doubts session over there. Also, you can clarify, you can get clarified your doubts. Okay. Thank you, students. Thank you very much.